Follow along as we demonstrate our professional above-ground pool opening service. Before we begin, the day before your scheduled pool opening, we ask that you prepare the following. Pump excess water off of your cover using a cover pump. Clean and clear any debris that has built up on the cover. Fill the pool so that the water level is at least mid-skimmer, and have all of your pool equipment readily available near the pool. Your pump, hoses, clamps, and any accessories that may be used with your pool opening. Your pool cover should be free and clear of all leaves, water, and debris before our technicians arrive. Otherwise, what remains on the cover will inadvertently deposit into the pool, making the water and floor dirty and a challenge for you to get clean and clear. We ask that your water level be filled to halfway up your skimmer so that once your equipment is reconnected, we can test for any malfunctions or leaks. If you schedule the cleaning at the time of your pool opening, add additional water. This is so that there is enough water to vacuum the pool. To save time and money, if the water that has settled on top of your pool cover is clean and free of debris, you can direct the hose of your cover pump underneath your pool cover to add water into the pool and raise your water level. Look within your skimmer box to monitor the water level as you fill the pool so you can avoid having to remove the winter cover. We offer a variety of other professional services that you can add onto your opening, like the reconnection of a heater or diving board, opening your built-in spa, or cleaning an existing salt generator. Call us today for more information. This is Melody and Omar, Royal Pool and Spa technicians that are going to demonstrate our standard above-ground pool opening. We'll begin by showing you that the pool cover has in fact been cleaned and cleared and it's ready to be removed from the pool. Around the corner, we have a ratchet that holds your cover in place with a cable that tightens on and doesn't allow the wind to take your cover off the pool. Omar's going to loosen that ratchet, which loosens the cable and allows the cover to be pulled off. Melody and Omar are going to fold the cover as they remove it from the pool, doing their best to keep the cover lifted out of the water. This is why it's so important to have your cover cleaned off before we arrive. We'll set the cover in the sun to dry off as we continue opening the pool. On your contract, we ask that you specify where you'd like our technicians to place your pool cover before our departure. In front of Omar, we have the return fitting that has been plugged for the winter. Before we unplug that, he's going to attach the hose to the filter and the return outlet. This is to ensure that the water remains in the pool when we remove the winter plug. Everything will get a clamp to secure its attachment on the wall of the pool and to the filter. On your contract, you authorize us to charge you for any additional supplies needed at the time of opening. Our vans are stocked with various parts and pieces, so in the event your pool needs something that you don't have on hand, our technicians can still supply you with any necessary equipment and ensure that you have a successful pool opening. Next, Omar will attach the hose to the sand filter, and he's going to make sure it goes on the lower of the two fittings on the multi-port valve. On the side, they are labeled return and pump, and this hose will be connected to the return fitting. If Royal Pools and Spas close your pool, any hardware, accessories, pieces, or parts will be stored inside the pump basket. There will be pump plugs, a filter drain plug, the sight glass for your backwash, and a pressure gauge. As we go along, Melody will continue to attach those various pieces. Melody is now putting the pump in place and will secure it with 2 screws onto the base. She is reattaching the drain plug, making sure that the O-ring is also in place. At the same time, Omar is going to attach the outlet hose from the pump up to the top valve labeled pump. This hose will get double clamped as it is a high pressure area to prevent leaks. Omar is now attaching the hose that comes from the base of the skimmer. You'll notice this hose was already attached onto the skimmer, and this is to ensure that any water that accumulated over the winter drained away from the pool as opposed to going underneath the pool. This will get reattached and clamped onto the pump. Melody is going to prepare the pressure gauge with Teflon tape, wrapping it a few times before she reattaches it. This is going to ensure that it does not leak. While she does that, Omar is going to lube the strainer O-ring with lube tube around the top of the lid. Lubricating O-rings yearly is extremely important to their longevity and to create a watertight seal. It will also make it easier to get the lid on and off when needed. You can either lube the O-ring directly if installing a new one, or leave it in the housing and do it that way. There's no right or wrong way to do it as long as it is lubricated. Next, Melody is reinstalling the sight glass and its gasket. The sight glass allows you a visual of the water while you backwash, and this is especially helpful if your backwash line is buried, and this will just need to get hand tight. Next is the drain cap for the bottom of the filter. There is a gasket which keeps this water tight. Omar is now reinstalling the backwash hose. He will add a clamp to secure that in place. And a backwash hose is great for directing water away from underneath your pool when you're vacuuming to waste, backwashing, or lowering the water level. All hoses are attached and secured with clamps. As we move along and get ready to turn the system on, Omar is going to make sure that the multi-port valve is in position. He's now going to turn the valve to the filter position. Now we are ready to go back to the return plug, and Omar is going to reach over the edge and unscrew the cap. This Doughboy pool has a winterizing plate pictured here on the left. Your pool might have a plug that looks similar to the one on the right. Once the plug is removed, Omar is going to return the directional fitting back into the pool, otherwise known as the eyeball. This will be positioned at a 45-degree angle pointing downward and away from the skimmer, creating optimal circulation for the pool. The skimmer plug is coming out and the skimmer basket is going back in. Skimmer baskets look different for different pools, and there are standard and wide varieties. We carry a number of replacement baskets in store if you do need a replacement. It's also a good idea to change your skimmer basket if you're switching chemicals in your pool. Omar is going to pop the lid back onto the skimmer and snap it into place. On this Doughboy pool, you pull the lid straight back and it will lock into place. We're just about ready to fire up our pool. The first time around, we'll loosen the lid without removing it so that the basket fills with water. It's normal to hear a hissing sound at this point as the air escapes. Once the basket is filled with water, Omar will retighten the lid. And now we are ready to turn on our pool and plug in the pump.
This is going to go to a GFI protected outlet.
The Matrix pump has a twist lock cord as per New York State requirements. On the base of the Matrix pump, there is an on and off switch. Once the cord is plugged in, we are ready to flip the switch. At this point, you will hear the pool hiss, bubble, and gurgle as all of the air is escaping. Now we are going to check our system and make sure that nothing is leaking and that all of our connections are secure, and we are looking good. At this point, the filter will circulate the water for a few minutes, and Omar and Melody are now ready to add the first initial shock into the pool. This is included with every pool opening. Be sure to specify which chemical system you're using in your pool so that we can use the appropriate shock or oxidizers based on your pool. This particular pool is a chlorine pool, so we will be using liquid shock. Liquid shock is also great this time of year because the water is far too cold for granular shock to dissolve properly. They are both going to pour this very close to the water to prevent splashing, as this is a strong chemical and can be dangerous if it gets on your skin or eyes. If you use liquid shock on a weekly basis, as with any pool chemicals, follow the directions written on the container and use proper protection like glasses and gloves when handling these chemicals. Now that our pool is open, the filter is going to run for a minimum of 24 hours. Afterwards, we will take a sample into our water testing lab to analyze. We offer this professional service to all of our customers complimentary. At least 24 hours after we have opened your pool and the filter has circulated, bring us a sample to any of our 3 locations closest to you for analysis. From there, we will assist you in getting your water balanced and ready for swim season. If you would like to schedule your pool opening with our technicians, please call 845-374-3969 or book directly through our website under the Pool Services tab. Keep on swimming, and thanks for watching.